Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm here with Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone, as we get right home with each other in the afternoon. You can find us so many different ways, and you can't get away if you try. You can find us on Channel 182 Charter Communications. This is close to Huntsville, Alabama. Another way you can find us is on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on the newscasters.com, and the biggest country station in South Carolina, WZLA. Make sure you check that out as well. By the way, you need to listen to the morning show on this station. It's a brother and a sister, and sometimes it's, like brothers and sisters will fuss and fight a little bit, but they do actually have the absolute best in the local and regional and also in national when they talk about, and they talk about sports a whole lot. So make sure you catch Benji and Lacey in the morning. But thank you again so much for watching. You can also find us on social media on Facebook.com/DFeazellXMeWe. If it's social media, we're doing it. So anyway, check us out. Continue sending email. It makes my day. Donna@DonnasEdge.com. Donna@DonnasEdge.com. Again, thank you so much. I have one of my best friends here, Rick Staines, is with me right now. We've known each other for a very long time. You were with me like the very beginning of the show when it started 21 years ago. And I've got something I want to show you in just a few when we get back from the commercial break. And so it's like a poster that we did, and it has a picture of all of us on it, and we just have our smiling faces, having a good time. But a lot of things have changed in 21 years for sure.
Oh, definitely. Technology's changed. We've changed. I've got grey. I look back on the show, and I had I was in my 40s. Yeah, I was in my 40s. I had brown hair. I had no grey hair. Yeah. Lots of things have changed.
You know what's not fair? Okay, when a guy has gray hair, it's he's distinguished. He has this distinguished gray hair. But when a woman shows gray hair, it's like, oh, she's getting old.
No, I don't believe that. I believe that. I love to see a woman rocking gray hair. If she's like real confident and she's like, not just like bedraggled and greasy and horrible, but she's taking care of her hair and goes out and she looks like she's taking care of that hair. Mm-hmm. Gray hair,
it
I think it's beautiful. People go to me, well, have you ever thought about dyeing your hair? It's like, no, why would I do that? This is me. I'm not going to be anything other than me. I can't be a fake me. And by coloring my hair any different color would be a fake me. It's gray. Get over it.
Talking about getting over it, a lot of people have a weird idea of what Americans are really like. Now some of it's true. If you base everything you saw on the news and politicians that are probably like the scum of the earth as far as I'm concerned, but if you based everything on a politician, what would your reaction be to the American citizen? What would you think?
Well, it's funny because my dad was like that. My stepdad was always like that. He always said to me, he openly said to me, I hate Americans. And I'm like, but why do you hate Americans? Because he'd only ever seen them in Europe. And it was the rich Americans who were traveling, and it was like the shorts, whether the plaid shorts or the plaid long trousers, the loud clothes, the flat cap, whatever, the hats, and the hey yeah, and all of that stuff. And he just built up this this hatred. Mm-hmm. And I at that time I was over here, and I've been over here, and I said to him, well, maybe you need to go visit America. And so I asked my son and my daughter to ask him if he would take them to Disney in California, and he couldn't really refuse. So he did, and when we turned up, we met in California, in San Jose, and I said, "What's your opinion now?" He goes, "What a beautiful country and what beautiful people." And I said, "That is what I wanted to hear." I said, "You need to experience it to make the judgment. You can't make a judgment unless you experience it." And we're seeing that now with all of these foreigners and Europeans coming over for the World Cup because they've been told something completely different by the media, by social media, by government, whatever, that Americans are this way, and then they're finding out that that's not actually true, which is very heartwarming, by the way.
Well, let me ask you this question. Is it just the American media, or is it their media as well?
Oh, no, it's their media too. I mean, everybody lauds on the BBC. I hate the BBC. The BBC are so woke, so left-wing, it's not even funny. And they still have a control in England where they go like, okay, so you want a TV, you have to have a license. So you have to have a license to have a TV. If you've got more than 3 TVs in your house, you have to have a second license. And they ain't cheap anymore. It was at like £100 and something when I was there, and it's now closer to £200 per year for a television. And if they're found that you're watching a TV without a license, they take you to court. And that's just the BBC.
I think back to the days. Okay, so in the 1960s and 70s when I was growing up, so we had like one TV. And I remember, so we owned our own money, my brother and I did. And so he bought a television set in his room. So we actually had 2 TVs in the whole house. And you had to have like this antenna because you could only get like 2 or 3 stations. You know, it was just like, and I was like the antenna. I was like the remote control. So Dad would say, go outside and change, move the pole, whatever, antenna pole. So I was like the remote control. And I mean, but you know what? I think I liked it better back then.
It was definitely simpler back then. I mean, I remember when my mum and dad went through a divorce, and my dad, he wanted the car, and she wouldn't give him the car. So he took the only thing that he knew of value that he owned was the TV. And in those days, it was a Telefunken. It was a German TV. It was nice for the time. So he took that. Well, my stepdad said, well, we can't afford to buy a TV. I'm not going to rent, because in those days you could rent TVs. And so my brother had a little portable TV, black and white portable TV, and we had to watch that for the best part of maybe 3 or 4 years before they upgraded to like actually taking it and renting a TV, because it got to the point where it's like, this is stupid. We're watching everything in black and white. I'm going to school. My friends are even making them fun of me, but it was in those days, it was actually 3 channels, BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV, and that was it.
But this is back though when news only came on once. It was like 6 o'clock. The 6 o'clock news, Walter Cronkite was on it. My parents always watched him, but you really didn't know what side he was on. No. I mean, it's pretty obvious now that we all know he was a liberal. But I'm just saying, you did not know.
No, because of his delivery, right? Because he just delivered you the facts.
Yeah, and he didn't even have a sneer, or anything like that. It was nothing like you see today.
Yeah, no, it used to be that way. From what I remember in the 70s, in England, you got kind of, and the thing with the BBC and with ITV is they would give you news from all over the world. So you were actually more in tune with what was going on in the world, because they would tell you what was going on in the world. There was very little. They wouldn't cover everything that was going on in the UK. And if they did, it was very factual rather than being kind of like the swayed one way or the other it is now. So, the only other way you could get news was a newspaper, or if you had a TV that could do it, was what they called CFAX, which was like a text delivery from the TV. You go on the CFAX pages and it would give you like news, it would give you weather, it would give you sports results. Not like it is today where you can find anything you want on the TV or online. So very simple times until I think around about the early 80s, and then it all changed.
Yeah, I mean, when CNN started coming on like 24/7, I mean, it was like it was overload, and basically all it was is the same thing over and over and over again. It's like they wished for a catastrophe so you could have at least something different. I think when shootings were happening, people were actually glad of that because they had something else to report.
And I think it's too much. I think you're right there, because one of my friends, my work colleagues, the only 2 channels he used to watch when we were away on a job was CNN continuously, and if it wasn't CNN, it was the Weather Channel. So I said to him one day, I said, well, one, you're getting brain addled by this job because they're not telling you the truth. Said, and then when you switch it onto the Weather Channel, I said it's all doom and gloom and Chicken Little. The sky's falling in because this is this major storm. Everything's. I said, and they're lying to you. So they've already been caught kneeling in water and making it up there. It's up to their knees, or pretending to walk against the wind, and then people walk normally behind them. Make better choices,
I thought that was so funny. And I think you and I sent each other a few of those. Is when the hurricane came over, and this guy was like, there was a fan, or something blowing the umbrella for him, and the people were just like it was a nice spring day outside with no walking behind him, and it was just, this was so obvious. But why do people not pick up on these things? Because you and I watch the background of stuff. When I watch a movie, or anything on television, I see what's going on in the background.
Yeah, I think they do now. I think that people have cottoned on to the fact that, this wonderful medium of TV, movies, and stuff, it literally is a land of make-believe. You can make people believe you are anywhere doing anything at any given time. I remember there was a photograph of some boat people that were supposedly drowning in water, and they'd taken a picture. And you're like, okay, you've just taken a picture of people drowning. Why didn't you just help them? That would be my first question. Why didn't you help them? So then when you find out that picture was actually cropped and you see the full picture, and there's guys actually standing in knee-deep water and everybody else is pretending to be drowning. The water's up here and they're like, and you go like, so it's all just fake. It's all just like literally like a Casio, AOC going to the prisons apparently where they're keeping the kids, and there's all the cages and everything. And it was just a photo op. And you're looking at it going like, yeah, this was just a setup for you to like pretend that you're crying by some empty fences. Like there's nothing there. It's just like you're pretending that this is actually real. But that's the world we live in. But people have actually caught on to that now.
Yeah, but you can, we've just had an election here in South Carolina. And I'm just telling you, some of the ads were ridiculous. It was crazy. You could see they were AI generated. So there's a woman who was running for governor. And you'd have to know the woman. She's like as conservative as they come. So what happened? Her opponent had her like she was for drag queens, and she was for all this kind. So there was like a picture, supposedly a short video of her and a drag queen and AOC on the other side. And I was looking at that, and I said, "Phil, look, that is so AI generated. It's not even funny." But people were literally believing this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because you and I are in the business and we catch on quicker than other people. It's just that it was so AI. That was not. And then they acted like she had some kind of a gambling problem. And they were showing her at a casino, and it wasn't her. It was her head, but it wasn't her. And she was out there like doing cards and stuff like this.
Yeah. I saw one yesterday, and it was Joe Rogan and Obama. Actually, they'd done it in his podcast studio, but it was, the content was funny because it was like Rogan going like, okay, so come on, Barack, give me the big, like the truth about Big Mike. And you knew as soon as he started going on about Big Mike, and he goes, oh yeah, well, he goes, we don't tuck that anymore. We just let it plop out. Right. And it's just like, it was so funny, but you knew that it was AI. Just simply because of what they were saying. Again, if it's not what you see, it's what they're saying as well.
Uh-huh.
But it was very, 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 very good AI. But again,
I really believe that is Big Mike. I'm sorry. The first time I saw a picture is we were living in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is before the election. And I had a big load of clothes walking downstairs about to go to wash them. And so Phil was watching the news. And I said, who's that man dressed up like a woman? I said that. And Phil goes, oh, that's a woman, I think. He said her husband is running for president. And I said,
well, the thing is like, okay, so you got the people on the one side saying like, no, it's a woman. Okay. And they'll show you pictures of her as a young girl, supposedly. And then you got the other ones that think that it's just a guy dressed as a woman. And that Obama is he bats for the other team, and he gets the best of both worlds. He marries transgender. A lot of the things I would say is that, well, if it wasn't, why is it in at least two that I know of live broadcasts he's actually slipped up and said Michael? which you wouldn't say if it wasn't true.
Yeah. And I also wonder, because you remember, like every president of the United States, every single one had, you can see pictures, baby pictures of their kids, the Barbara Bush, coming home from the hospital with a baby and all that kind of stuff. But why can't we see the pictures of them as their babies?
Yeah, I know there's lots of unanswered questions. And I think, unless someone actually comes out, that both of them come out and admit that that's the case. And again, you go back to I forgot her name now, but when she was asked, "When will we ever have a gay president?" and she said,
Joan Rivers.
Rivers, we have one.
Dead.
We had one, yeah. So there's there's no smoke without fire.
Well, okay, if you're proud of it and you're pride and the rainbow and all this kind of stuff, well, then why not just go ahead and do it? I mean, would you really be shocked? I mean, really?
Not at all. And I honestly think, compared to what he's done politically, even up to this point, I would be less shocked to find out that was actually true than what he's done politically. Because what he's done politically is way worse than being married to a guy. I mean, even with like running, secretly, we know what he was behind the whole Joe Biden thing. And when Joe Biden was there, he was there going to Canada and talking, basically breaking the rules that are set out for ex-presidents, breaking the rules, talking about diplomatic policy and policies with a foreign nation. And you've got a sitting president and you've got somebody who was a president doing that. It's just not on. So I think I'd be more shocked if he admitted all of that. We know that. Than being married to a man.
Well, another thing that's always kind of puzzled me is okay, all right, let's put it to you this way. Almost every single bride always wants the bridesmaids to be ugly. She wants to be like the center of attention. And I've always kind of thought about President of the United States wants a VP who is stupid, because it makes him look grand or her, whatever. It makes them look really good. And it's so obvious Joe Biden is like the dumbest VP and president ever in the world, even over Jimmy Carter. But remember the time when Joe Biden was VP and he gave away the location of the bunkers?
Oh, yeah. The guy's an idiot.
He gives that away. And so it's like, you could see they were interviewing, Obama about this. And he was kind of like, it's Joe being Joe. He was just kind of like that. And at that point, I thought, do you really want a stupid VP? To make yourself look better. What was the reason? Why do you think Joe Biden was his VP pick?
More because he made him look super smart. And Obama's a smart man. He's not stupid. But at the same time,
that was a bonehead decision.
He's a very slick, legal-minded person. And I've always said, if you get a lawyer and you take them out of a lawyer's office and you put them into any position, they are snakes. Mm-hmm. They are snakes because they know the law, and that's
how far they can go.
Yes, they skirt around things, and so it could appear to be legal or illegal. It's like on that border. It's right on that border, but they know just enough to get them around. And I think especially with Obama, I think the more that the stuff comes out, the more that he did, even just to hurt Trump. Whether he'll actually ever face anything for that,
that's not going to happen.
I doubt it.
I think we're wasting time on them and the Clintons and all of this stuff.
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen. Another thing I thought was really funny too, and this is when Obama was president. And you remember they were trying to be really quiet about pride and gays and lesbians and all this kind of stuff. And really, Biden is the one who he was the one who broke it. He's the one who actually said, about gay rights and all this kind of, and he kind of shocked Obama by doing that. I don't think Obama was ready yet. But he kind of had to proceed with it. I don't think the timing was right for Obama. But there's good old Joe. Joe broke it.
Good old Joe Biden. And there's people that still believe, mistakenly, that he's the greatest president ever. And I don't. When they put that in the sentence, I'm like, based on what? Just based on what? It was a headline the other day, and it was like, Joe Biden is the greatest president ever. And you're like, One, who made that decision, and how did they get to that decision? On what platform could you make him the best president ever? You couldn't.
There's not one. First of all, I know it sounds all crazy, but I really do believe Trump won 3 times. I think he won 3 times in a row. I mean, there's no doubt about that in my mind.
They're already. I mean, you know, your friend Mike Pillerman. They dropped the lawsuit. They dropped the lawsuit against him. Okay, why did they drop the lawsuit? Because he was right. The Dominion systems were faulty. They were letting people be able to come in the back door and mess around with them. So all of that struggle, all of that stuff that he said, everything that we've ever believed in or were told about the elections, about the voting, about everything else is true.
And we all knew that.
We all knew that. It's just that you got the other side trying to paint a different picture and say, no, it's not. No, it's not. But the truth always comes out.
Okay, first of all, I don't know why you would trust any picture they would paint. I mean, think about it. They were trying to, okay, AI was in the beginning stages. Okay, so they were trying to pretend that Kamala Harris had all these fans who were, you know, wanting to see her when she comes off the airplane. You know, so she's walking down the plane, but you can truly see it's the same person. It's like down on the bottom row. It's like, this is at least mix it. Okay, if I could be the advisor for that, I would say, okay, look, at least mix it up. Have men and women, you know, have not just one woman with different hat on, different hair color, sunglasses, not sunglasses. I mean, so they weren't even being careful about that. Why do you think? Because you know how it is in the business world. Okay, okay, we had like 8 Nextel stores. We would have business meetings. Okay, we would sit down at a boardroom and we would talk about how we needed to improve the business. Somebody could raise their hand and say, I don't think that looks really believable. Because it's so obvious to me that do you really think the Americans are that stupid? Because, I mean, it's like the same woman. I mean, you can see it's the same woman. And then there was a guy kept taking flips. He was turning flips like over and over again. So do they really think we're that dumb?
They do. And that's the problem. They do look at the American public in general. At least half of us are dumb as rocks, because you've got half of the people believing all of the stuff that they say. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of like, and they always want the division. They don't want a united people. They don't want us all to be like one brain, one mind, thinking the same way. If we all thought that the government were as bad as we thought they would be, or, you know, whatever, it's bad for them. But if there's a division, then they've at least got 50% of, you know, the people on their side, which, so they do look at us as dumb. They don't think people are going to look beyond what they're looking at in the center, which is obviously whoever it is, whether it be Kamala Harris, whether it be Joe Biden, whether it be Obama, Trump. They don't look at all the other bits and pieces, but people do look at that now because they do see. And again, you know, we're not stupid. We learn. You just look at everything. You got to take everything in, because I've done videos where I've done had groups of people or people in it, and you're trying to loop it. And that loop has to be so, because even the slightest little movement that's out of place, your eyes pick it up. Your eyes pick it up and you'll go straight to it. What was that? And then you start watching it. It's got to be very, 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 very.
Something's off. And Dad used to do that back in the olden days. Okay, so he had like a Bell and Howell movie camera. We talked about that before. And it took these little 8mm, you know, and so what he would do is he would just do little videos with us, and we would do, like one time we did the 10 Commandments, you know, and just, you know, different funny stuff. But those were like really, really fragile. And sometimes one would break, you know, it would break when we were watching it. And so he had a splicer. So what he would do is he would splice the 2 broken parts and then tape them back together. And it would drive him nuts because he would say, see, you can see where I spliced it.
Yep.
And there was no way, unless you cut out a huge portion of it, there was no, and he didn't want to, you know, get rid of any of the good stuff either. So he would just put the splice there. But why can't people see, man, that's been spliced?
Yeah.
Commercial break. We're going to go to a break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Can you believe a third of the show is already over? We'll be right back. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels.
Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you.
You know, finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas. Okay, we are back. This is the beginning. Rick, remember this?
Oh, there's a bit of glare on it. Can you just hang it?
Oh, is there a glare? Okay, how about that?
Yeah, basically. So where am I? Because
the guy with the brown hair.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look, I'm even gelled hair there. Look, gelled hair. Yeah, those were the days.
Isn't that cool, man? It was so much fun. So I found this after we moved, and it was in like a suitcase.
That's awesome.
And, yeah, I'll see if I can take a picture of it and give it to you. I think you'll get a kick out of it. But thank you so much for watching The Edge. The Edge. My name is Donna, and I'm your host. But thank you again so much for watching. And I wanted to thank all of our sponsors who are absolutely awesome. I think that keeps us going. And also, we also have the absolute best guest on the show, and Rick is one of them. Rick Staines, who's been with us since day one, just about it. But definitely appreciate you being with us. Yeah, we've been talking about things that are like not quite there. I mean, it's just not quite.
Not quite Biden.
Yeah.
Not all there. Yeah, not all there. It's
not all there. But AI has gotten better. And I would think that if you're in the government and you're running like opposing ads against the person you're running against in a political world right here, that you would be able to do a little bit better on the ads than what I'm seeing.
You'd think. But again, you got some people that they're dumb and they're given jobs. I mean, that's the problem we have these days is people are given jobs they've got no qualifications or no understanding of. So is it somebody who's actually, made movies, not some DEI hire that is, oh yeah, well, you're going to make our films for us. Oh, okay. And then just putting out the junk they put out. AI is a powerful tool. I use it all the time, and it's gotten better. It has got better. But even so, when we like if we do a meeting now, all the notes are taken by AI and it's broken down. It's beautiful. It's lovely. It gives you a nice summary. It tells you and it kind of just breaks it down. So it's not the whole boring meeting. It's just the important points. but I still have to read it because it still makes mistakes. And people, there was a lawyer who just recently actually did a document on AI, and they put it out there. Their client got their butt handed to them legally because the information in the document was wrong. And when they went back to the lawyer and said, hey, I was like AI, and then we didn't check this, and he didn't. And so he ended up first of all, we got fired, because you wouldn't do your job properly. I mean, no one bats an eyelid at work if you use AI because they know it's a business tool. But if you put it out there and you didn't check, you still got to do your due diligence and read what it's saying to you. You have to do that. I do it all the time. But it's a great tool. But it's also something that's going to get misused completely, and it's only going to get worse.
Well, I'm pretty sure, but you remember when the internet came out, and so it was an evil tool, it was of Satan and all this kind of stuff. Now everybody uses the internet, and it has some bad stuff to it, but it also has some really great things. I love the internet. The same thing's going to happen with AI if it's not already. You're going to get an idiot in it who's already people are looking into it. I'm pretty sure on how can I make a quick buck.
Yeah, you've got companies already doing it. The Flax camera already? The companies that are involved with the Flax camera. So the camera originally was to read like a tag number, so it could identify your car at certain places. Whether it's going through a red light, stop sign, whatever. That has now grown, and it's actually scary how quick that's grown from just being a tag number to now it's going to track you. It's going to track your phone. Because it's all, and this is all AI. I mean, literally, I've seen systems where I go and see clients and they go like, okay, give us a description. You say, okay, give me a red car. And it'll bring up every red car within 24 hours. And then you go like, oh, that one. And then it will track that car and it will tell you where it's been, where it's gone. I mean, literally, because it's so quick at finding the information, face recognition. You got to literally jump from one camera to another camera to another camera where it's literally tracked you. Even I pre-ordered. I'm a geek. I pre-ordered Grand Theft Auto 6. Okay, I've been waiting 13 years for this. I pre-ordered it. Even the AI in that now. There's AI in the game, and what they're saying is it will build up a pattern. It will create basically a version of you in their system, and it will learn from you to educate their version so that it can actually use the police that are in the city to track you. And so when if you use the same escape route every time, because people do in that game, the police are actually going to block it off. They're going to be waiting for you because they've got an intelligence, because they've got something to follow, because they've got a version of you that's completely AI generated within the game that you know nothing about, that's actually feeding them the information. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy it's mind-blowing when you think about the uses of AI.
I love it in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways I'm a little, I don't know about it. And the reason I'm saying this is because I remember when COVID hit, and it's like on Facebook, I got kicked off several times, especially when you were on the show. But anyway, I got kicked off several times, and because of things that were being said. And I'll have to tell you the same thing with YouTube. I had some issues there. But what is to stop someone? I can see where AI would be really good, like somebody's abusing children, or somebody rapes somebody kills somebody. I can see where it could be a really useful tool there. But it can be so sophisticated where you can change the head. Okay, you could let's just use these two nemesis together. Okay, let's just say Obama committed a murder, but they put Trump's head on it to where Trump would look like he's the one who did it. I can just see all kinds of uses where people would abuse it. And
it is actually, that's pretty much happening now. I mean, you can do a live swap. I mean, you can go onto these apps and do a live swap. So you can I could create a character and I could be speaking as me, but you don't see me. You see the character I've created. So you can actually do that. The good thing is again, the colleges and the universities have already got they've got a handle on this anyway. So they have software already that will tell you if this is AI. If you're writing the document, it'll actually tell you how it was typed too. There's actually an app that will tell you what the typing speed was on it, and what keys, and if the keys were actually pressed, or whether it was an AI generated document. So you can't even cheat with AI. You can't cheat with AI because it's actually monitoring everything. But it's going to get used nefariously because that's just what people do, you know. Because humans are humans. We got good humans and we got bad humans, and then you got the people in the middle. Of, you know, they don't really care. It doesn't affect them, but it does. But that's just human nature. Anything bring along that's technology, an advance or a technological advance is going to be misused.
Absolutely. I've seen it with cell phones. I mean, I've seen it with every single thing that has come out. Yeah, children, there was a day when we didn't have cell phones. And yeah, I mean, I've just seen it evolve. It's always like the nemesis always gets involved with it and just screw it up for everybody else.
Do you remember you had a little black book, like a little, it was maybe that big. Oh, I'm just going to put myself back now. You had a little black book, and in that black book, you had all your phone numbers because you didn't have a cell phone to store anything. I mean, the numbers that were key to me, I could actually, remember, but there's a lot that I couldn't remember. So I had a little black book.
I remember one time somebody told me for my mother's telephone number, and I had to look it up on my phone. And that woman looked at me like I was just like abusive. And she didn't understand. She was an older lady. And I said, look, it's on speed dial. I don't have no reason to remember it. And so, there it is. But something with my date books, I still have my day timer. I live by it. I'm just always afraid because I do human error. If I lose this, I'm in trouble. Okay, so, several people have said, just put everything on your cell phone. I'm just afraid someday I'm going to forget, something happens to the battery, I drop it in water, whatever.
And I do understand that, but I also do realize the importance now. I mean, I have a notepad. I did have a date one, but I don't know where I've put it. I've got to find it. But just having something to write down, because now I mean, because of the job that I do, I mean, I've got projects running, and I've got times and guidelines that I have to hit and push up and do all this stuff. So I need something that's just there, because sometimes my phone, I'm using it to make a call or I'm using it for something else, and I'm just like, okay, I don't want to do anything with that one. I just need to have it somewhere. So, and pen and paper is perfectly fine. And we're of an age where we appreciate that.
Absolutely. I was thinking about this. I was having a discussion with someone on the show the other day, and we're talking about how kids that are graduating from high school now cannot write cursive. And I mean, I never thought I would ever see that day. Can you see that being a problem later on in their lives? Yeah, I mean, even today. I mean, you think about, all the stuff that people argue about. I mean, okay, so one is being able to fill out a form, and they look like, oh, how do I do that? Because it's not on a computer. Okay, if it's not on a computer, they get completely lost, So all these little things that we learned at school that we just took for granted. I did calligraphy, so you had to learn how to write all nicely and neatly. I was terrible at it, but you calligraphy, and you write, and you had to write within the lines, and you had to be neat and legible. I don't know if they teach that anymore, to be honest with you. I don't think they do. They don't. But do you think this is being done by design?
I think that definitely, if you look at the education system, not only here, but in the UK, and I say the UK because I obviously know that, even from when I went to school, there's definitely be a dumbing down. Because when you're given a box, like a computer that can do everything for you, and all you're ever using is keys, you don't learn the skills. It's like little things, you do math, and they put you through this algebra, and algebra has its uses, but not to everyday people. Okay, I was lucky enough to be I was in the lowest level of math. We had 6 levels, and I was in group 6. I was an idiot. And so, but they taught us how to balance books, how to write checks, how to open an account, how to run your household, how to do all the things that you learn or think you need to know. We did. And everybody above us learned algebra. It's like, and now I've got them going, well, I wish I'd learned that. Yeah. because it was a valuable skill. And sometimes we just need to get back to that. Just teach these valuable skills. Writing is a valuable skill because people, and reading too, because some people can't read either.
That is true. So let me ask you your opinion on history. Okay, how important is it for kids to know history?
I love history. I love whether it be because I'm a history kind of buff, but I also think that that's the way we learn, not to do something because we've already seen what it's done, because everything's in a cycle. It's going to come back around. And when it comes back around, people go like, oh my God. Like when we had COVID and people were, oh, it's a pandemic. And you go, it's not a pandemic. First of all, it's not a pandemic. It might be an epidemic, but it's not a pandemic. Okay. So that's the first thing. And then look at the real reasons why people are panicking. And you go back to the Black Death, and you go to, other times in history that you can learn from. Okay, the difference between a pandemic and an epidemic and an outbreak, okay, and how things were, manufactured and dealt with in those periods of time. So history is a great learning for us, but when it's not taught properly or it's taught incorrectly, and they give you a skewed version, right? The big one today is, slavery. Everybody thinks that slavery was an American thing. You're like, no, it wasn't. It was going way before that, and there's still slavery going on today. At the end of the day, if you were going to talk about reparations, let's talk about reparations for everybody, because at some point in our lives, whether it be relatives, was touched or dealt with in some way slavery of some kind.
I'm going to probably guess my ancestors were probably not kings and queens. I'm going to say we probably made bricks out of mud. So maybe I need to go back to Egypt and just say, something, I want reparations, because I'm going to say my ancestors probably make bricks out of mud. What do you think they'd do to me?
Oh, they would laugh you out of the room, because
they probably shoot me on the way out too.
Yeah, because there's a very unfortunately, it's a very skewed view of historical facts and life, as it used to be. And if you ever look at I'm trying to think of the name of the country now. But there was a country actually set up. America purchased the land. They bought it to repatriate the slaves. Okay, and they did. They sent some back, and after so many years, people went over there to see how it was going, and those people had actually were using slaves. so it was like, okay, there's nothing different. It's human nature. It's human behavior. Like people go like, well, you're living on land that was somebody else's. Yeah, every piece of land on this planet has been invaded and taken at some point, and taken back or not taken back or whatever. Every piece of land has been won over in like war or rebellion or whatever else. Okay, so just get over it. Okay, it's just way of life. It's just the way that history has worked it out, and you're here where you are because of all those steps that were taken many, many years ago. If you want to go back and take all those back, you probably end up the butterfly effect, stepping on a butterfly and then changing the world completely. Where would you be if these things hadn't happened?
I agree with you 110%. Let's go into a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a few.
Lowe's knows that the projects you build in spring are the ones you can't wait to share. It's why we make sure you have our best deals with My Lowe's Rewards, and that you get help from people who've
been there,
done that.
Try this.
This spring, we'll help you build something rewarding.
Hey, Stan. What's up? I made you something.
Oh, thank you.
And I got something for you. You grew these?
Of course.
Lowe's knows how to help you spring.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
Welcome back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. As I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's so much fun. I love you being part of my life. Absolutely. Continue sending email. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. Got my friend Rick Staines with me right now. And Rick, I wanted to ask you a question, okay? Because, gas prices have kind of been up there, and 4th of July is coming up. I just kind of feel like something wonderful is going to happen on the 4th of July because Trump loves grand entrances, President Trump. He likes coming in on the 4th of July and telling us what's really going to happen. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, I haven't really thought about it, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it would be nice if we got some good news. I mean, my concern right now is, although that they have this agreement with Iran, and everything's kind of like normal, then you've got Iran doing stupid stuff like attacking like another ship, and then America just going, and dropping some more bombs. And Trump going like, well, I'm opening up to just bombing the crap out of them again, which is very Trump. But at the same time, it's like, you've got a peace agreement. Just stick to it. I mean, we're sticking to it. It's them that's not sticking to it. So stick to it. But it would be nice for the American people to have a nice piece of information, a nice piece of news around the 4th of July. What's really funny about, because, people ask me, well, you're English. Do you celebrate the 4th of July? Of course I do. Next year, I'm going to celebrate this as a citizen. And that's a guarantee. Because although I can't right now honestly say that I support the US soccer team, because I can't, it's not, I mean, I love the fact that they're playing really, really well. And I do. I just know that if they win it, you lot will be insufferable. I mean, they'll be blowing it back to Britain and England so bad. It'll be like, but at the same time, I can see that it'd be the same if the English win it and it comes home eventually, like it's supposed to have been for the last 60 years. Mm-hmm. But this is, in my opinion, the greatest country on earth. And I love being here. And I love the fact that we have shown Europe and the rest of the world that we are the way we are, and we are the freest country in the world, and we do all of these wonderful things. French girl goes back to Paris and she's told she can't put her AC on, she can't eat a sandwich because she wants to eat it this time. They are government like, no, you can't do that, no, you can't. She goes, I'm for America. It's yes, 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 and this is the land of yes. Yes, you can do that. Yes, you can do this, and yes, you can have that. And that's just wonderful. And it would be nice if Trump gives us something back too.
Oh, I would love to have that. So how do you feel about the way he's handling things right now?
I mean, well, again, it depends on where you look for your news. If you go one place, it's like he's doing the worst job ever because that's all it's ever been. He's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing this. But, sometimes he just quietly just gets on with his job and just does it. I mean, the only time you ever see him is when, he's saying something and they want to either, skew it a certain way. But most of the time it's just like, hey, you know what? It's like when people coming over here, they go like, well, what's all the big thing? It's like, there isn't. He's the president of the United States, and we know that, okay? And you get on with your life. I mean, we don't have to worry about it. I mean, and I think that he just goes around, he does his business, and that's it. He looks after America.
And that's the whole, I mean, he's very successful. And I don't know how many people I have seen on social media, they say, he's just the most unsuccessful person. And I'm like, really? He's unsuccessful? Really? I mean, unsuccessful at what?
Well, I mean, because a lot of people pull out the business. They go like, well, he's been bankrupt. That's a purely legitimate thing you can do if you're running a business. I mean, airlines do it all the time. Businesses do it all the time. It's a way of, keeping business going, getting back on your feet. Mm-hmm. So if they can do it, why can't he do it? And it's like, all of this stuff about how much he's just made all this money in crypto coins. Good. Okay, you don't complain about Nancy Pelosi when she does it. You don't complain about all of your Democrats making money, whether it be like because they had they had a track on that deal or whatever, or they were getting money from the laundering that went through the Ukraine. No, it's no big waste. But Trump, He invests a little bit of money, and then you'll criticize him because he's making more money. You know, it's the same with Elon Musk as well.
But if he had not made the money, you would be calling him a loser.
Yeah, he can't win. He can't win.
No, and I don't think he cares. And I'm trying to develop that. There are a few things he does that I might handle a different way. I don't know if I would or not. I like the brutal honesty. I like that, you know, like I may have a friend who says, Donna, does this dress make me look fat? Well, to keep her from crying, I probably say no. But I'm beginning to change. I'm beginning to be like, I think another dress might fit you better.
Yeah. Do you really want to go out like that? I mean, you know, it's just, you don't have to be.
One way, you just said it another way. You just said, you really want to go out looking like that.
Well, I mean, you know,
you know what? I've got another idea for you that would be so good on you.
Hang on, Loki, give me camera. It's got a wider lens on it. You know, many years ago, we were talking about, because there's a guy at work, unfortunately, he's got very bad BO, and people are like, well, you know, someone needs to say something. I'm like, yeah. I said, I've worked in with a male and a female in different jobs, and the female, it was a meat department. So, and she had a window open, and she's like doing the weighing and the pricing, and the wind's wafting in, and it's wafting that smell right over to us. But like, oh my God, yeah, just you could smell it. So I was given the chore of going over there and identifying which of the females it was, and standing behind them and just talking to them and going, oh, you know. And so I said to the manager, a meat manager, I said to him, I said, well, you got to tell her, but you know, you've got to be delicate. He was an ex-British Army, and so he took her outside. Literally, not even 30 seconds gone past, she come busting in, crying. The doors flew open. She's like, bawling her eyes out, and I'm like, what did you say to her? You swore, can stink, sort it out. And I'm like, you can't say that to a woman. You can't say that onto a woman because it's not nice. And then her mum, who works in the canteen, was like, I don't know what the fuss is about. I have a bath every 6 weeks, and that's never hurt anybody. And we're all like eating sandwiches, and this woman's maid go like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, but you know, okay, I kind of like Trump's style though. I kind of like it, you know, like, okay, when they first started running for president, he was running against Hillary Clinton, and Hillary was telling stupid lies. First of all, she was saying things like Donald Trump kicked old ladies out of their houses, you know, which was totally beneath him. I mean, he owned skyscraper business. He didn't own little houses. You know, so for saying that was just kind of stupid. But anyway, he just turned right around and he just looked into the camera and he didn't even try to say, you know, I own skyscrapers, moron. He just looked and he said, smart business people buy low and they sell high. That was his only response. He just said that.
At the end of the day, and I was reading something yesterday, actually, it's like, you know, if they're accusing you of something, you know, and they'll go like, well, because, you know, I've had people like, I've paid them money, and then or given them money, and then when they say, well, prove how much I gave to you, and I can prove it, I just give them there's the money I took out of the bank and I gave it to you, and they're like, oh, because the burden of proof is not necessarily on me, and it wouldn't be on him. Okay, if you have an accusation about somebody, then you got to prove it, and most of the time they can't prove it because it's not actually true. You know, you'll get people to try and spin it, you know, and like take some like length out of it. It's like the whole Epstein files, because he was mentioned so many times in the Epstein files. But when you looked at the real facts, the facts are that at a certain point, yes, he knew Epstein, but at one point when Epstein stepped over the line at Mar-a-Lago, he withdrew his friendship and told Epstein, I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be around you. And all the mentions that he gets in the Epstein files are all lawyers. It's all lawyer. It's emails prior to anything that happened, and it was all lawyers. So again, he's in the Epstein files and he did this. No, that's a wild accusation. It's an untruth. It's like the 34 felonies. People like loved it, and you go like, well, first of all, there's not any felonies there. There's not. He wasn't convicted. He was, well, I mean, they had the conviction, and it was like kind of this, but it wasn't really, because you have to name the crime. And they didn't name the crime. And it was one one thing that he did that turned into 34 felonies just because it was just them. But when you look at the was it the DA for not the DA? She was the one that was trying to like sue him and all that. Like, she ended up doing the same thing with property, overvaluing her property, and what happened? Nothing, because it wasn't important enough that she did it, but it was important enough that Trump did it, and it's all just jacked up against Trump, and it's just let it go.
Yeah, like, what always comes out in the wash, using plain old common horse sense. If they really had something on him, he would have never been elected the first time, because they would have presented it.
Yes.
Been here for everyone to see, and they would have been, because I got so tired of hearing, we got the smoking gun on him this time. I kept hearing that over and over again. I would think the dumbest Democrat would be so tired of hearing that. I would think they would say, look, you keep promising this and it never happens. It never materializes. Move on. Let him be president, and then we'll just try to vote him out next time. How about that?
Yeah. I mean, and it's the way that we look at it is like, we didn't agree with Obama. We didn't agree with Biden. We didn't agree with old Kamala Harris when she was trying for it, but do we go to the streets? Do we riot? Do we do that?
No, time we were busy working.
Yeah. We just do what we do, get on with it, suck it in for 4 years, and then, we change it if we can.
About 3.5 minutes left in this segment. I got to ask you a burning question. Okay, so who is going to run on the Democrat side for president? Who do you think it would be?
Well, if you look at what they're trying to say, is one, Kamala Harris thinks that she's got a chance of running again, and her running mate would be AOC. I mean, what a ticket! Thank you very much.
Thanks for that.
Yes, thank you very much for that. And then you've also got, Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, if people are dumb enough to put that guy, if they can't look at what he's done to California and San Francisco, before California he did San Francisco, then he did it to the whole state of California, what he did. And he's another smarmy, greasy kind of car salesman person that says things that aren't true, just is out there. He's just saying stuff for saying the facts of saying stuff. Okay. And you look at him and you go like, there is no substance to that man whatsoever. And he's he's a decent looking guy, but he's just full of it, literally just full of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. On the Republican side, who's going to
run? Probably, I mean, I would expect Vance to run. Most definitely. I mean, Rubio. I think Rubio has actually done a really good job as in his role right now.
Oh, yeah. I really do like J.D. Vance. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
But if I were him, I mean, the way things look, it would be him running and maybe Rubio being the VP. But really, if he's smart, what I would do is I would say, Rubio, you be prez, okay? I'll be the VP, but now you help me in another 4 or 8 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I think Rubio needs to be the one.
Yeah, I think because Rubio, one, because obviously his background, he's from immigrant parents. He's got a handle on it. He talks real well. He
has done a phenomenal job.
He does, and he's a decent guy. So, I think anybody else, they can have a crack at it. But I think those two definitely for the Republicans.
But I would definitely put Rubio first, JD second.
Yeah, I think if you gave J.D. Vance another 4 years under another president,
he'd be ready.
He'd be solid.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. Anything you'd like to say before we go?
No. Come on, England, and good luck to the U.S. Men's team tonight. I know it seems like they're playing Bosnia-Herzegovina, and the pronunciations make me laugh. Some of these. Even the English presenters can't get it right. It's Bosnia-Herzegovina, not Herzegovina. Oh, whatever. It's Herzegovina. It's not going to be an easy match, but let's hope the US get through and keep doing this country proud.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rick, so much for being on the show with me, as always. And thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely appreciate that. Continue sending email, Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.